One of the better fight nights in recent history takes place in a week from now. Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov taking place in Saudi Arabia. It always seems like they'll stack these Middle Eastern fight night cards. The Abu Dhabi card last summer was stacked. The Saudi Arabia card in June was stacked. And this is a great fight night. So we're going to get into it, guys. Don't forget, UFC 311. I did go 10 for 3. I feel like that's pretty respectable with some of the upsets that happened on that card. So I am going to aim for over a 75% prediction rate this year. So getting into it, we have Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi taking on Bolaji Oki. This was supposed to be Al-Sawadi versus Jordan Levitt. I guess Jordan Levitt pulled out. Levitt withdrew. So we have Bolaji Oki. What are the odds here? No odds. I think Oki, this is the guy with blonde hair. I think he fought in the Contender Series. I think he ended up looking pretty good. He's taking this fight on short notice, though. This is a tough one to call, honestly. I'm kind of going 50-50 on it. Al-Sawadi, what's he done in the UFC? He lost to Lok Radzhabov, who's not bad. This is a hard one to pick. To pick. I'm going to go with Al-Sawadi. I like Oki. I liked Oki, but I think he's taking this fight on short notice. Al-Sawadi, he's been preparing for it. I think it's going to be close. I could be wrong, though, but I'm going to go with Al-Sawadi here. Moving on up the card, Hamdy Abdelwahab versus Jamal Pogues. I remember Hamdy Abdelwahab. He fought, I believe, in the summer of 2022. It was a really fun, kind of messy fight versus Dante Mays. And then he hasn't fought since. I think he was suspended for some type of steroid drug abuse. And then Jamal Pogues, kind of your average fat heavyweight. He's what is he in the UFC? 2-1. He's decent. Hamdy Abdelwahab is the underdog here. It is close. I'm going to go with Abdelwahab. I liked his fight a couple years ago. He has been out for a while. With the steroid suspension, maybe now that he's not using steroids, or who even knows? I don't know what that even was with the suspension. But I am going to go with Hamdy Abdelwahab, maybe mixing in the grappling. I thought his striking looked pretty good in the Dante Mays fight. Jamal Pogues, very basic, does have decent striking, but it's nothing that wows me. And I just like Hamdy Abdelwahab. 3-0 though, not a lot of experience. But I'm going to go with Hamdy Abdelwahab here. All right, moving on up the card. Bogdan Grad versus Lucas Alexander. So Lucas Alexander, I'll start talking about Bogdan Grad. So this guy won on the Contender Series, in the summer, 14-2 from Austria. Lucas Alexander, he's been in the UFC for what? A couple fights now. His last fight, he got knocked out by Jeka Sarigi, the Indonesian guy. That's not a great look, even though Jeka is a pretty good striker. I mean, he did beat Steven Peterson. Bogdan Grad, 14-2, that's a good record from Austria. I'm going to go with Bogdan Grad here. Bogdan Grad, 14-2. Lucas Alexander, it's supposed to be one of the bottom guys in that division, so I think Grad will be all right here. All right, moving on up the card. Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Mayra Bueno Silva. I'm surprised that they have Jasmine as 2-1 favorite. I know that she's kind of been like the only Canadian fighter that's like winning, so they're kind of getting behind her over there. And I know Mayra Bueno Silva, it was a bad performance against Raquel Pennington in the championship bout they had about a year ago, and then she lost in the summer, I believe, to Macy Chiasson. It was like an injury stoppage. She was losing, but that was a fun fight. I remember watching that. I don't know. I mean, Jasmine Jasudavicius, who did she beat? Ariane Lipsky, Fatima McCline, Priscilla Cachoeira. I'm going to go with Mayra Bueno Silva. She can grapple, she can strike, good jiu-jitsu, good grappling. I think, isn't Jasudavicius mainly a grappler? I think Bueno Silva will be able to. I don't know. I mean, it is a close fight, but I'm gonna go with the underdog here in Mayra Bueno Silva. Moving on up the card. Ziam versus Mike Davis. Okay, this is a good fight. Kind of like two opposites here. Ziam very active, climbing up the ranks. It was a really good performance last time out against Matt Favola. And who else did he beat? I think he beat the Peruvian guy, Claudio Puelles, Jai Herbert. He's on a pretty good streak for Ziam. Now Mike Davis, he also hasn't lost in a while, but he is a very inactive fighter. Last fight was about a year ago. Before that, a year and a half ago. He's beat some good name, Natan Levy isn't really a good name, but Vyacheslav Borshev's a good name. This is going to play close, I think. Mike Davis is the favorite. A lot of tough fights to pick on this card. 27-32 for Ziam, 5 years younger. The thing for Ziam, and I know he just got a big knee KO where he knocked the guy out cold, but I just don't think his strikes are very dangerous. And I think, and Mike Davis, I know he has like a striking background. He definitely can strike, but I see Claudio Puelles taken down for Ziam quite a bit. And I think Mike Davis can probably do that here. I know that for Ziam defended a lot of takedowns versus Matt Favola. I think Mike Davis is solid enough, even though he doesn't fight very often. For Ziam has a lot of momentum. I think Mike Davis can mix in the takedowns. He has good striking as well. And for Ziam, even though he's on a good streak, I don't really see him being like a top contender in this division. I think it's going to play close, but I'm going to go with Mike Davis here. But I think the odds are a little high. All right, moving on. Terrance McKinney versus Damir Hadzovic. Yeah, this is just another one of those fights where Terrance McKinney is just going to finish the guy early. There's a certain level of opponent that seems like Terrance McKinney seems like he gets finished. It seems like there's a certain level of opponent that just finishes Terrance McKinney right away. But it also seems like there's a certain level of opponent that he finishes right away. It's very weird with Terrance McKinney. You'll never see him go to like some close split decision with somebody. He either is better than the guy, which means he'll KO him right away, or he's worse than the guy, which means he's going to get KO'd right away. And Damir Hadzovic, I mean, what are we doing here? He's 38 years old. Okay, he hasn't fought in 3 years. I was like, how is he still in the UFC? He must be on a massive losing streak. He's only on a one fight losing streak, but it's because he hasn't fought in 3 years. I don't see a. I know Terrance McKinney has not looked good recently. He's been losing, but I just don't see a world where Terrance McKinney doesn't end this fight early. So I am gonna go with Terrance McKinney getting a first round KO, first round sub, rocking him with the first punch he throws. Like I said, there's just a certain level of guys that he's just gonna beat right away. So I am gonna go with Terrance McKinney there. Moving on, Shamil Gaziev versus Thomas Peterson. You know, the fan favorite Shamil is back. He looked pretty good his last time out in this region of the world. He was in Abu Dhabi. This guy, grinding a win out versus Dante Mays. And Thomas Peterson, I mean, just another run-of-the-mill, fat, oafy, heavyweight. He punches, he kicks, and it doesn't look too coordinated. He lost to Jamal Pogues by UD. He beat Muhammad Usman by UD. Okay, that's kind of a name there. And I know the Rosenstrike performance was a mess, but Rosenstrike's good. He's top 10-ish. And, he looked all right early in that fight. I don't see Thomas Peterson extending Shamil where, the gas tank's an issue. And I see Shamil getting the takedowns here. I think we'll be able to get the takedowns here. Pretty decent wrestling. I think, the guys outside the top 15 are not going to be able to deal with it. Thomas Peterson, I don't see him being like some kind of dark horse in the division. So I am going to go with Shamil Gaziev. And look, John Jones is worried. We all know John Jones is worried about Shamil. All right, moving on up the card. Muhammad Naimov versus Kaan Ofli, Turkish guy. I think I mixed up Muhammad Naimov with Muin Gafurov last time, because it was actually Muhammad Naimov who I was thinking of losing to that Brazilian guy, Felipe Lima. And he did not look good in that fight, but he hasn't fought since. Yeah, I mean, he beat Nathaniel Wood by unanimous decision. That's a pretty good win. I remember there was some controversy there. He KO'd Jamie Malarkey, Eric Silva. Who was this guy? I don't recall this guy. He must be a Contender Series guy. No, he lost to Myron Santos by TKO. All right, I'm going to go with Muhammad Naimov. He must be the favorite here. Yep, 250. I think he's solid. I mean, beating Nathaniel Wood, even though there was some controversy, that's pretty solid. And that Felipe Lima guy out of Brazil looks like he could really be a contender. So Muhammad Naimov, solid, well-rounded, and I think he'll be able to get the win here versus Ofli. All right, moving on up the card. Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. Yeah, no doubt, no brainer here. I'm gonna go with Ikram Aliskerov. I'm not sure. I'm gonna say Ikram Aliskerov. Andre Muniz. Remember there was a time like 4 years ago where we said Andre Muniz is gonna be like the next guy to challenge Adesanya, and it's gonna be a tough fight with the grappling. I mean we were just very wrong. So he lost to Paul Craig. Not a great look. Who else did he lose to? He lost to Brendan Allen. That's kind of where he first kind of got fraud checked. And then he beat Yunyan Park by split decision. Yeah, I just think stylistically this is such a good matchup for Ikram Aliskerov. I know that he got dusted up by Whitaker in a round, but that's a huge different level here. Andre Muniz is not dangerous on the feet at all. And Andre Muniz is a grappler. I think Ikram Aliskerov he did pretty well against the takedowns against Chimaev. So I think this is a great stylistic matchup for Ikram. I think he will easily be able to stifle any of the grappling, and I think he probably KOs Muniz on the feet. He must be a massive favorite, minus 550. I would probably line it at like 800 or 900 to be honest with you. I think this is probably a first round Ikram KO or just an easy decision here. Again, Andre Muniz is not dangerous at all on the feet. And he's a jiu-jitsu guy. Ikram will be able to defend the takedowns easily. So yeah, I'm going to go with Ikram Aliskerov there, bouncing back. Moving on up the card, we have Said Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. This is a good fight. Vinicius Oliveira, he had the fight against Opage where he was losing, got the flying knee KO, and then he beat Ricky Simone in the International Fight Week card. And Ricky Simone's kind of a guy who teetered around the top 15, so that was a good win. Said Nurmagomedov, another guy who's been kind of teetering around the top 15, beat Muin Gaffarov by guillotine. I thought he beat Jonathan Martinez, honestly, and he was on a pretty good streak before that. I thought he beat Jonathan Martinez. I know that fight was close, but I don't know. I mean, this is a good fight. This will be a good fight. Both guys can strike. Both guys can grapple. Well-rounded here. I don't know. It's a close one. I think I am going to go with... I think I'm going to go with Said Nurmagomedov. Good striking, flashy striking. He's quick. He can really grapple as well. I don't see Vinicius Oliveira being able to work in any grappling here. And maybe Said won't be able to as well, but I think if someone does, it'll be Said. And good jiu-jitsu. He wraps the neck with the guillotines, and I just think he'll be out a little bit ahead on the feet from Oliveira. But it's a close fight as well. A lot of close fights on this card. There's a chance, my predictions don't go super great, but we'll see. Moving on, Sergei Pavlovich versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Interesting fight. Massive fight for Sergei Pavlovich. I mean, people were picking this guy to beat Aspinall. I was a massive Sergei Pavlovich fan. I still am. I remember I picked him against Blades by first round KO. I was super happy that he got that one done. And I thought Aspinall, look, no one beats Aspinall, but we were disappointed in the Volkov performance, right? It seemed like he couldn't find his footing, and he's kind of a one-trick pony, right? No grappling, no kicks. It's just kind of the boxing, and Volkov was able to play the range game, keep him at bay, and he was, you could see the frustration. He's pushing Volkov. He wanted nothing to do with it, and that was sad. But there was on his winning streak, Derek Lewis, Tuivasa, Curtis Blades. As soon as he touched those guys, they were all disoriented, right? Now Rozenstruik's on a good win streak. He beat Shamil Gaziev. The Tai Tuivasa fight, I thought he looked pretty good. I thought that fight was actually pretty fun. People say that fight was boring. I thought it was decent. Now, we know Rozenstruik can be KO'd. Ngannou KO'd him. Volkov KO'd him. But there is a world where Jairzinho Rozenstruik plays it on the outside, avoids the big punches, leg kicks, jabs, moves around. There is a world where Sergei Pavlovich goes to another frustrating decision, but I think Sergei Pavlovich will find the shot he needs here. I think Volkov is a little bit different of a level versus Rozenstruik in terms of being able to dance around on the outside, jab and kick and frustrate your opponent and move around. I think Volkov is able to do that. I don't know if Rosenstrike is. And I still believe in Sergei Pavlovich. This is not just a walkover, easy, gimme fight. He's going to have to go out there and get it. He'll have to earn it. But I'm a big Sergei. And I like Rosenstrike as well. I don't want to see him get KO'd. But I think Sergei Pavlovich will be able to find the shot he needs here. I'm not expecting some new rebranded Sergei Pavlovich. I'm not expecting him to, come out here and give me some switch kicks to the body. He's going to, go out there and, box. I think he'll find the shot here. And I hope he does. I'm a big Pavlovich fan. All right, moving on. Great fight here. Shara Magomedov versus Michael Venom Page. Shara, the favorite, slightly. I'm going with MVP. I don't think Shara is going to grapple here. I'm not even sure if he probably can. He probably can't actually. But I think this fight will play out on the feet. And look, people have given Shara Magomedov problems on the feet. Now he's found a way to win, but Armen Petrosyan, who is a good striker, who is a very good striker, he was giving Shara Magomedov problems on the feet. It's not like this guy just is washing everyone he's fighting on the feet. I think you look at Michael Venom Page, Kevin Holland had nothing for him on the feet. Ian Gary, who's a really good striker, had nothing for him on the feet. This guy, he's got knocked out once, but he never really has gotten behind in the striking in his career. Shara Magomedov was behind against Armen Petrosyan. Now he found the KO. Now maybe, we could talk about Shara maybe having more of an upside to finish the fight, to maybe find a crazy shot or a big punch. I think, maybe the finishing factor and durability factor is with Shara Magomedov, but I just think Michael Venom Page, this is going to be an interesting fight because Shara is really quick as well, but I just think the dart in and out style, he's mastered that so well. MVP has. Kevin Holland and Ian Gary are great strikers. They both had nothing for Michael Venom Page on the feet. And Armen Petrosyan had a lot for Shara on the feet. I'm going to go with Michael Venom Page close. It could go the other way, but I'm going to go with MVP. All right, moving on up the card. Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov. This one's fairly clear to me. I have not wavered in this pick. I'm going with Israel Adesanya. If Nassourdine Imavov was a bit more of a dangerous guy who was like, this jiu-jitsu guy or, this one-punch knockout power guy, I'd maybe consider picking him. But he isn't super dangerous. And I think he can knock you out. And he's knocked out people. But I just don't see. I think stylistically this is a very good fight for Izzy. I think Izzy kind of knows that as well. That's why he, took this fight. It's a pretty decent turnaround for him as well. Only, 6 months, 5 months? I guess 5 months really. But when you look at Imavov, I think Izzy can defend the takedowns pretty easily. When you look at Imavov, he'll shoot them, but he's not elite at getting them. He doesn't get a ton. And I don't think he'll be. Maybe he gets one. I think Izzy pops right back up if Imavov gets a takedown. He's not a jiu-jitsu guy. He's not a control guy, really. He's a good grappler, sure. So I think this fight is going to really primarily play out on the feet. And I just think Izzy is better. I think he's a bit quicker. I think he's a bit more accurate. I think he's a bit more technical. And I thought he looked really, really good against Dricus du Plessis. What am I saying his name for like a casual? Dricus du Plessis. I thought he looked really good against Dricus. It wasn't this normal, tentative, on the back foot Izzy. He was going forward. He was landing body shots. He was landing kicks. He was landing punches. He was aggressive. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll go back to his normal ways against Imavov, and maybe in the du Plessis fight there was so much emotion where he just had to go forward and stuff. But his grappling defense looked pretty good. Obviously, later in the fight, he got submitted, but early on, when he wasn't hurt, his grappling defense was really good. And I thought his striking looked good. It looked fast. It looked technical. I liked the combinations that he was throwing. Everything looked pretty good. And I think there was one other point that I wanted to make here. I think Dricus du Plessis did land quite a bit on the feet against Izzy, but Dricus has that weird style that's hard to prepare for, and I think that can throw you off. You don't expect punches to be landing. Nassourdine Imavov is a really good striker. Like, Imavov is really good. I feel like I'm talking down about Imavov here. Imavov is really good. I've been picking him in all his fights. I picked him against Brendan Allen. I picked him against Jared Cannonier. I picked him against Chris Curtis. That might have been his last recent fight, or fight before the Cannonier fight. He might have had another one. I don't know. But Imavov is really good. But I just don't. What's the unique thing about Imavov that's gonna beat Izzy? Pereira has that unique power where he can, knock out Izzy. Dricus has that. Everything about Dricus is just unique. His striking, his everything. Imavov, really good grappler, good striker, but it's a bit more of a basic kind of foundation than like a Duplessis. So I think Izzy will be able to deal with that a lot better here. And I don't think Izzy is going to wash him or knock him out. I'm going to go with Izzy maybe 49-46, 48-47, clear, but a few close rounds. I just think he'll probably land the better shots, maybe land a bit more, defend the takedowns, maybe even reverse the takedown or something, maybe land a head kick, hurt him out. He hasn't really landed a head. Like, Izzy, he doesn't really land anything crazy recently. No wheel kicks, nothing crazy like that. So I don't think he's going to rock him with a head kick, but maybe, I don't know, just a normal Adesanya performance. Leg kicks, good punches, good jabs. He has a pretty good jab. I would like to see him use the style he used against Duplessis and go forward. I would like to see that. I thought he looked really good going forward and being more aggressive, because there was a time, in the Vettori, the Cannonier fights, the Whitaker second fight, where he was a lot more tentative. But I thought he looked good against Dricus. I think he'll be able to win this fight here. I'd be pretty surprised if Imavov wins again. Imavov is good, but I think Izzy will be all right here. So those are my predictions. I will be live for the card. I'll do a recap. I'm excited for this card. It's a really good one. We have 2 really good fight nights in February. So yeah, I'm excited. I'll see you guys for it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you later.